Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is Tyrone Milade, your Goddess Guru, your sister friend. You know I love helping women align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom and the goddess-centered lifestyle. Today, I want to look at the monthly astrology for March. I'm so excited about this month. It's a very impactful month, to be honest with you. We have a lot going on. So I want to make sure that I equip you with everything that you need to maximize this month. If you would just take a quick moment to go on ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It really does. Subscribe to the channel. It really does help. But let's just go on ahead and look at what we have for this month. Let me pull up the calendar really quickly. So I'm touching on the major transits for this month to start out with. So let's start out with, I'm just going to change the view real quick too. So what we have is starting out with Mercury and Aries. This one alone, I was actually really in awe when I saw that. Once I started looking at it, because not only is Mercury going into Aries, which indicates a new beginning for our mind, maybe how we are communicating along with interactions. Mercury is one of the planets that has to do with small groups, siblings, people in our local community. And so we'll have some new beginnings around that. And anytime a planet goes into a new sign, there's new beginnings. But it's like double new beginnings because Mercury in Aries is a sign of new beginnings. So it's definitely bringing this energy. It's kind of like we'll feel this first sign of like, oh my gosh, I feel this renewal coming, especially those of us in the northern hemisphere with spring coming. It'll feel like a breath of fresh air. I think if anyone is watching from the southern hemisphere, there's something to me in fall. It's like it just gets everything ramped up and going, but it's kind of like that last push before it's time to like start going in. So no matter which hemisphere you're living in, it is bringing up this energy that has, it's like this surge of energy. That's what Aries is like. And Mercury in Aries is going to bring that surge to our mind. It's going to bring that surge in terms of our communication. And I think maybe we might become passionate about being more social because Aries is actually a little bit of a sign that is a loner sign, if you can believe it. The number for Aries is 1. But Aries is passion. And Mercury does have to do with relationships that are like day-to-day type of relationships, friends, siblings, even neighbors, coworkers. So it could bring about this passion, some like new energy around those relationships. So I love that. But what makes this Mercury into Aries, because Mercury goes into Aries every year, that's not necessarily super out of the ordinary at all. It's very common. So what makes this special? 2 things. Mercury in Aries is also where Mercury is going to retrograde. Mercury goes retrograde on April the 1st. And so there's the pre-retrograde time that is called the shadow period. And so that shadow period is happening during March. So that begins to bring up topics around, what is this retrograde going to be like? Now, I will say, I think that this is a retrograde that we want to think about. Definitely before we go into the retrograde, we want to do things to help, like back up the computers, get yourself in the mindset that being gentle with technology is exceedingly important. I would say that also. And, yeah, like I said, backing things up, just really being cautious around technology, taking note of what technological issues are coming up and how can you best take care of your technology. I always see Mercury retrograde as a time to give thanks for technology, maybe even to take a technological break if there's some technology that you use too much, maybe you're too attached to your phone, whatever it is. Is there a need to take a break from some type of technology? Uh, and it just because Mercury retrograde is about slowing down a little bit. Okay. So we really want to be cautious. So, Aries, why I'm going on and on is because Aries is a sign that has to do with innovation. Its planet Mars, it can for sure create technological issues. So I want everyone just to be ready for this to be potentially, I'm not saying for sure, but potentially it can be a very challenging Mercury retrograde when it comes to technology. And okay, so the other thing, and I have some notes here, you'll see me looking down. The other thing that I want to talk about with this Mercury retrograde, besides that shadow period, other things that I'll tell you about this shadow period with Mercury retrograde that I want y'all to think about. Aries has to do with the body. So there could be some topics around exercise, for instance, that are coming up. It could be there was some type of exercise you were supposed to start, you never started it, you fell off, something around exercise. Also, just in general, the body. I even think that it could be something deeper, like maybe even emotions and just anything that is creating issues in the body, even if it stems from something mental or maybe it stems from something emotional. I want y'all to be thinking about that also. Now, one of the themes that I see for March is this high level of creativity. So Aries is extremely creative. So I think it could be bringing up something around creativity for a lot of us, and it might be something you started that, from your creativity a while ago, and now you want to go back and finish it. So let me just go on ahead and fast forward to the other reason this is not the normal Mercury retrograde. And that is because the North Node, let me show y'all. The North Node is in Aries. And so, with that North Node being in Aries, where it's located in Aries, where Mercury is retrograding, that node is right there. So we have Mercury newly going into Aries, new beginnings. We have the sign of Aries, new beginnings. We have the North Node there. So that's adding a third level of kicking something new off or kicking something new off again when we think about Mercury retrograde. So that's another reason why this is just so much energy around starting something new. And I want y'all to think about it too, even as like a new cycle for the next 18 years or so. It could be for the next year also, but also the next 18 years. We're kicking something off new. So I want you to think about, what do you want to have staying power in your life? Then maybe this particular cycle can help you kick it off and you get an end result, in 18 years or so. So the reason I'm saying that is because Mercury is going to come past the North Node. It's going to go down to the 27th degree of Aries, and then it's going to come back and it's going to hang out with the North Node for about 3 weeks. It will be there. Um, where's my dates? April 19th to May 2nd. Okay, so maybe like 2 weeks. April 19th to May 2nd. The North Node, excuse me, Mercury will be right there with the North Node. So whenever planets meet or whenever, asteroids, nodes, whenever they meet, planets meet each other, they're right there together, then that is starting a new beginning. Okay. So I want y'all to be really open to the energy of new beginnings. One of the things that I've said about 2024 is that this is a year that is about us swinging up. We dip down into the lowest point. I guess you could say of humanity, and it's not the actual humans. It's just the times that we live in. Sometimes times are really good. Sometimes life on Earth is really challenging, and so 2023 was at the bottom of that graph, and now we're starting to swing up. And it's a new world. We've been reset in so many ways, and it's continuing to happen, with Pluto moving into Aquarius. So, I think this will feel like this is really the first time that we are able to, just really feel like, yes, new beginnings that I can trust. I'm able to see this all the way through, and it's so new, but these last 4 years have prepared us, 2020 through 2023. So I'm gonna tell you why I say 4, 2020, 2021, 22, 23. Those 4 years have prepared us. They ripped apart or ripped away from us the old, and then they installed the new. And we've been, like, adjusting. And so this year is our year to kinda be like, like, for me, I knew that I was gonna end homeschooling in 2021. That was a fact. But how things ended for me and where I am today, I had no clue. I really didn't. I did not expect things to happen this way. And now I'm so much more accepting of it all. I'm more accepting of being, an empty nester, and more accepting of I am on a whole new career path that I just didn't really see coming, right? So it could be something like that, where you're like, whoa, I am in a really new place, but we're just ready for it. And so this month, Mercury, Aries, North Node, Mercury retrograde, all of that is going to help us to just embrace it all so much more. And I predict that we're going to get some magnificent results, because there is so much energy of taking something from the imagination or something from the unseen world and making it seen for this month while all of this is happening. So I'm really, really excited about Mercury retrograde. And let's see here. So, one other thing that I want to say too is that I think that this Mercury retrograde, I was talking about the body. Mercury retrograde, I think, is actually going to help us to continue to really get the lessons of Chiron in Aries. Chiron in Aries is this energy that's about wounding, especially in the body. It could be wounding in the early years of life. So that's something else I want y'all to think about, that honestly, there's quite a bit of healing energy going on. And so we might be more open. It's just like all this talk of, I remember when this happened, but I want to let it go because it's not serving me anymore. It could be something like that. Or I've been walking around with this medical issue, and I'm ready to take care of it. So it could be something like that. Okay. So I love, love, love that. Okay, let's see here. One last thing that I'll say about Mercury in Aries is we will need to be a little bit cautious around how we're talking. And, don't be surprised if people are very frank and direct in how they speak. What I want to encourage us all to do is let your speech be guided by wisdom. This is one of the things that we teach in a spiritual tradition I'm a part of. There's this warrior energy, Ogun, and one of the things that we talk about with Ogun is Ogun has to work with this energy called Obatala. Obatala is wisdom, the highest wisdom. And so if Ogun the warrior is not operating according or working with Obatala, the wisdom, Ogun would just go out and just kill everybody, cut everything down, like death and destruction. So we always talk about Ogun must be guided by wisdom. And that's how we want to, maybe this Mercury retrograde will give us an opportunity to allow ourselves to pause before we speak. We live in a society where everyone is just so opinionated. Well, we've always been opinionated, but we get to hear it more because of the internet. And so, it's kind of like maybe I need to think before I speak would be a good rule of thumb. And maybe we can grant forgiveness because, folks are just going to be popping off at the mouth, is what I think we'll see. Now, the other thing that I want to say is, I want us to think about war and the news, or activism maybe activism. There's going to be more writing or social media, because Mercury can be social media, but a lot of talk around war as well as activism. I think that these will be key topics, and it's like news stories that kind of maybe have been buried, but I think they'll come back up to the forefront. Or it just might be like for the activists, because that's who I'm most for. The activists will kind of retool and then come out on the other side with a stronger message. Maybe it's some new type of activism coming through. I watched this one channel called on YouTube called Midas Touch, and they recently brought this Gen Z guy on who I'm like, this guy seems so wise for his years, but he has a really unique way of going out and talking to people and just having conversations. I'm going to say it that way. But it's just very interesting to see that. So it could be a retooling of the way activists are showing up in the world. So um that is, I told you, just that one thing alone, it Mercury moving into Aries, that is going to be giving a lot. Okay, in March as well as in April. All right, I will say March 18th is a day for us to kind of pay attention to see what comes up for us that day. So then the next thing we have, right after Mercury goes into Aries, we're going to have a new moon in Pisces. So happy new moon. And really take that time to make sure. Yep. Really take that time to set some intentions with this new moon. I really love this new moon. First of all, I'm a Pisces. But this moon is powerful. This is not the average moon. We have a stellium. You can see we have 4 planets: Saturn, the moon, the sun, and Neptune. That's 4 planets, stellium. That means it's a lot of planets there in Pisces. So that brings intensity to this moon. So you can just see how there's even more intense new beginnings, more intensity in the month of March. And so one of the things that I am saying about this moon is has a lot of energy of manifestation, a lot of creative energy. And see, I love, sometimes we just feel creative and it's just for the sake of feeling that way. I believe in that. I really do. And sometimes we have creative energy that can actually make something manifest. And so what will manifest will, it's like you can bring something from the imagination, from the non-seen world, which is Pisces, and make it manifest. That would be Saturn. And then we have the planet that rules Pisces down here in Taurus. This is one of the reasons I keep going on and on and on about Jupiter and Taurus. This is the most manifesting sign in the zodiac. There's no sign that's better than manifesting than Taurus. Okay. So I want y'all to open yourselves up, even to during this new moon, to really understanding how do you manifest with ease? How do you manifest from the inside out and really mastering that? Because Saturn is there. You want to really master that. I also want you to open yourself up. If you're like me, work, 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 take action, take action, take action, right? So, what we have to learn how to do is we do need to learn how to manifest from the inside out, because everything is not going to come from taking action, which I didn't even say that about Mercury in Aries. That is really going to kick off some taking action. I'm sorry, I have to pause for a minute. That's going to really kick off taking action, but it'll be action that we probably won't really start moving forward with until after Mercury retrograde ends, okay? But maybe we'll see where we need to take the action with that particular Mercury retrograde. Okay, so let me just get back to talking about the new moon. Okay. So Jupiter being down there, oh my gosh, so much energy around manifestation, Pisces and Taurus, because Jupiter is in Taurus, um, is all about deep creative energy, deeply creative energy. So if you work in a creative field, then this might be a really good time for you to set some new moon intentions around what is it that you want to create. If you're a healer, this is a really good new moon to set intentions around being, your work as a healer. And also if you are wanting to bring more healing. So this is one of the themes for March, more healing. So lots of healing energy. Set new moon intentions around that also. Now, Pisces is also very spiritual. So this is definitely a new moon. If you want to be more disciplined, say, for instance, in your spiritual practices, is there something you want to master? That's something to think about also. Set new moon intentions around that. And the other thing I want us to think about outside of working hard and creating from the inside without, the other piece I want to connect to working hard is opening yourself up to miracles and, yeah, living a life of miracles. Sometimes I don't like talking like this because it feels like, I'm very Pollyanna, and it sounds like almost ridiculous in a world that can be so cynical, which I can be extremely cynical too if I'm honest. But I would love to believe that we can feel like most of the time we're living a life of miracles. And it really isn't hard to conceive of that when we think of we don't make ourselves breathe, yet we breathe. Our bodies, really and truly, with all this Aries energy, to look at how much of a miracle it is to have a body, the miracle of the body operating, even if someone is struggling with an illness or disease of some sort, the body hasn't given up on you. The body continues to maintain you as best it can, given where it is. And with, continued pouring into yourself, like taking care of yourself and doing healing work and taking care of the mind and the emotions, all that, the body even will begin to, make a turn and go in a new direction as long as, that's your destiny. I know sometimes it's time to check out, right? We're not going to go that way. But in general, the body is doing everything it can. It's just so perfect. And so that alone is, we live miracles day in and day out. Oftentimes I am in awe at how I get in my car, I go to and I go fro. I might take a short trip. I might drive down to Mississippi to go see my dad. Miracle to me that I'm able to do that. And how much, since I've been driving since I was 14 years old, that I come and go with ease and effort. I'm like, here, I'm safe. Oh my gosh. Miracle on top of miracle. So it's not hard actually to conceive of living a life where we are more aware of the miracles, but we might need to go out of our way over this next year to really keep ourselves open to miracles because this moon has the energy of miracles, and it's, pretty soon Neptune is moving out of um, Pisces. So we really want to appreciate Neptune while it's still there. A lot of times we're not paying too much attention to Neptune being in Pisces because it's been there for so long, but we'll never see it there again. And this is its home placement. Neptune is one of the rulers of Pisces. So let's just be happy about that. This moon is Pisces, Scorpio, Scorpio. So something else, because there was something else that I related to Scorpio. What is that? Oh, the eclipse. The eclipse has some Scorpio energy in it also. So definitely this is a month for change, transformation. Scorpio is also healing. So this moon can help with that, along with maybe actually if you need a strategy for something, Scorpio is very good at coming up with a strategy. So I think that's important. Now, I want to show y'all something because I don't want to just repeat myself too much, but we're going to see Venus come into Pisces on my birthday, March 11th. And then we're going to see Mars go into Pisces on March 22nd. So that's just going to like amplify this Pisces feel and energy. Even though the sun goes into Aries on the 19th, we are still going to be deep into Pisces because Venus is going to be there, Mars is going to be there. And Venus being in Pisces will bring a lot of good fortune. It'll bring a lot of healing, maybe even when it comes to relationships or money mindset. I think that's something else that a lot of us want to be focused on is, is your money mindset well? Are you good with money mindset? Are you good with your finances? Where do you need that healing, abundance consciousness, that kind of thing? Um, but definitely this just amplifies this energy. Both Venus and Mars in Pisces amplifies the energy of creativity and healing, spirituality. So yeah, just so much. It's a hugely creative month, hugely creative, hugely healing month also. Okay, so let's talk about the sun moving into Aries. So once the sun moves into Aries, um, we will be at spring in the new in the northern hemisphere. Whoo, can't wait. Woohoo! Fall for the southern hemisphere. I know most people love the fall, so enjoy. But, this brings a lot of action. This brings some great energy around, well, having energy because Aries is the most energetic sign here. Um, Again, we'll feel like taking action. We're not quite at Mercury retrograde at this point. So maybe the last 2 weeks, maybe the 19th through about the 24th, 25th, you might feel like I can take action and everything is good. Now, once we start getting closer to Mercury retrograde, Mercury really does start slowing down. So we may not feel like we'll feel like taking action, but it may not be on something new. That's how I'll say it. We'll still have a lot of energy though. So the sun in Aries is amazing. And I just think that it's another one of those moments where we're just like, first new beginnings. It starts with that that Mercury going into Aries. And then when the sun goes into Aries, it'll just feel like, wow, this feels amazing. And I've talked about Aries kind of in it, quite a bit today. So that's all I'm going to say there. I'm sure I'll touch on it as we get closer to it in one of the weekly. Okay, so let's talk about the full moon lunar eclipse. This is going to happen on March 25th. March 25th. So one thing about this lunar eclipse is we're already feeling it. We'll start feeling the eclipse energy about a month before, so right around now. And then this eclipse we'll feel it about 3 months out. So if it's Libra, it'll be around Cancerian season. There's going to be something that kind of think about it is like a full moon. It's illumination, culmination, the height of the energy because eclipse energy is going to last for about 6 months. So halfway between is about 3 to 4 months is where we begin to see like the culmination of what this full moon was about. Okay. So full moon lunar eclipse happening in Libra. Libra is all about relationships. I think relationship topics are coming up quite a bit. And, ever since the eclipses moved here. And so, whenever we're thinking about Libra, we're definitely thinking about relationships. And so it's going to it's going to bring to light something around relationships. Also, I relate Libra to balance. And so this full moon may help us to see where we're out of balance. So I want you to think about when it comes to relationships and when it comes to balance, these are things that it's something that is so important to look at because it's going to take us in the direction of our destiny. Okay. It's helping us to get aligned with our blueprint, our inner blueprint. That's what these eclipses are about. So, whatever they're bringing up in the end, it's going to be for your highest and greatest good. So, I want you to think about what's coming up this month and what do you need to be focused on? Now, this lunar eclipse in Libra could also be about refining something. That's a term that I feel like people don't talk enough about because sometimes in this society, this modern day society, especially, it's so easy just to keep doing new things, do new things. There's so much opportunity that we have out there. But when we think about refining something, you make it so much better than it was before. Does it need to be refinement around relationships? Do we need to refine something around lifestyle or work, some creative project? Because actually, Libra is very creative also. And elegance. This is a very elegant sign, regal also. And so those are the kinds of qualities. And so this lunar eclipse is helping us to kind of let go and purge just um where the eclipses are in Libra. It's just all about releasing and letting go of anything that's taking away your balance, anything that's taking away your like making is taking away elegance and diplomacy. That's another thing about this eclipse. What's getting in the way of being diplomatic? Oh my gosh, I never saw that until just right now with this. What do we need to do to have more diplomacy in the world? Okay. And so I think that this could be a very impactful full moon because this is a like I was gonna say it's more than a super charged moon. It's because the full moon is a very powerful moon. And this one is even more powerful. Okay. Very much intense. And so just be gentle with yourself. And, I really do think it's important to take time to do some type of ritual, some introspective work, especially if you're a Libra, Aries, Capricorn, and Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising. But it really doesn't matter. All of us are really and truly caught up with this. And you know what? this part of the lunar eclipse is really and truly, it's kind of like release. Maybe it's going to help to release, when we're looking at it on the world level, release some of the imbalances that are in the world. What's blocking fairness and equality? Because that is Libra. Libra's like, I want to be fair. I want things to be equal. It's just how it is. That's just Libra energy. It wants everything to be equal. Um, and so it's like, what's blocking that? It's another reason why I can get down with um, the United States in this Pluto return. We are moving in a new direction. We're not moving backwards, even though there's so many days I look at the news like, how are we going to get to the other side? um, but for the world in general, the whole Libra energy is just being purged right now. And so what happens when that thing gets purged? It's like we get to do a reset in that area. Okay. Venus is going to be in Pisces at that time. So one of the things we can be thinking about is, Pisces is humanity and compassion. And so I'm hoping that part will come through also, spirituality. And yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that I wanted to talk to you all about? Yeah. Um, Let me tell y'all something. We are really at a very important time this year. We have so much going on, and it's starting with March. If we think we saw something from in January and February, we ain't really seen nothing yet. The difference might be January and February still felt a little purgy, little purgy, little not fun, versus March, April. There's a lot going on in April and May. Big changes, big changes. And so, but it'll feel new. I think that it's my hope. This is what I'm going to speak into our community. It is my hope that it feels amazing. I'm not going to say it's going to feel comfortable all the time, but I do feel like we feel this will feel like we're in the new normal, because the old we know is gone after the last 4 years. But yeah, the new normal. So let's do a quick reading. I'm just going to pull one card. Y'all know I like pulling my cards. Um, yeah, I like pulling my cards while I'm. Oh, this is interesting. I probably was supposed to pull up this word and I didn't. This is from my Mythical Goddess Rising deck. Boundaries. I pulled the boundaries card. Isn't that interesting? Boundaries. So for the month of March, it's important to have boundaries. And, you know, Saturn is in the sign that it has no boundaries. So, and I had thought about that at the new moon. There's something around boundaries that we want to think about too. So make sure you set new moon intentions around having boundaries. Interesting. It's goats. It's called a four-horned goat. And we're going to have so much going on with Aries. So that's interesting. But this card, it has to do with Capricorn, and Capricorn definitely has to do with goats. So it says the four-horned goats create a mandala, a powerful shield of unity and strength, creating clear boundaries. These animals bring the message of self-respect and clear identity. And when joined in a common purpose, create unity. I like that. So I'm going to tell y'all something. Part of what we have going on is we are moving into what is called the me cycle. We just got to the bottom of the me cycle. So we're swinging up, moving towards the me cycle. And so, and with all this energy in Aries, there will be a lot of more me-centered focus. It's just how it's gonna be. It's just a part of our evolution. And so I love this. Self-respect, that's something that we want to make sure that we are cultivating at this time. Clear identity. I know who I am. I think that is something that is key for us to really, um, maybe we want to ponder it and do some introspective work around it, or we're just claiming it. We're just like owning it even more. But I love this part. When joined in a common purpose, create unity. So all the me's in a common purpose is unity. So that is the beauty of the me being clear about who I am, and having boundaries, but we can put it all together and have something beautiful. It says this card reminds you to mend and maintain your boundaries, be vigilant for weaknesses, and respect yourself by keeping your boundaries healthy and intact, by what you allow in and what you express, being true to your essence. And one thing I will say about boundaries is, um, boundaries are largely for you. You create the boundaries and you uphold the boundaries. We can't expect other people to respect our boundaries unless we are the ones that's like saying, "That's a boundary. That's a boundary." I also want you to think about boundaries in terms of, like, put boundaries around your time. What are you using your time for? Or put boundaries around your health and wellness routines. If you say you're going to work out for 5 days a week for 20 minutes, hold yourself to that. That's a boundary. Hold yourself to that, okay? So we're going to be looking at boundaries that we have, that we're having other people uphold with when it comes to us, but we're also making sure that we are upholding the boundaries that we are setting up when it comes to, our life. Our life is essentially a bunch of boundaries. There are things we're going to do, there's things we're not going to do. And, where there's fluidity in the boundaries, just depends on what it is, kind of dictates the results we're getting. Okay. So it says here, as the goat's horns keep safe the space around them, what you let inside your sacred circle determines the quality of your life and the focus of your power. So, you know, again, do we need to put boundaries around what we're allowing into our mind and releasing? So, I really, really love that. Last little bit, I'm going to pull from my Moon Magic deck. I really have grown to love this deck so much. So, let me pull this card. Okay, interesting. I just pulled what is called the Moon Goddess. The Moon Goddess. I think I've pulled her before, but not a lot, so I don't know. This is interesting. So for the Moon Goddess, her keywords are divinity, hidden, and depth. So we know this has to do with Pisces for sure. It says the divine feminine is watching over you, offering guidance towards your full potential. She shines her silver beam upon you, speaks to you in dreams, and draws you out into the dark of night. You can see how dark this card is. You can see she's at night. She encourages you to live in tune with the lunar cycle, to meditate and relax. That is definitely Pisces. She welcomes you into her realm of magic and asks that you live a life that is true to the magic of your heart. So that's something that we can really set at that new moon, living according to live a life that is true to the magic of your heart. So we might want to put that into our new moon's intentions. Do not be afraid to follow your dreams, for they will lead you to your destiny, showing you what you are capable of achieving if you set your mind to it. Be bold and take the first step, and the path will soon be revealed to you. I love this. This is so this month. Just as the moon goddess does not reveal her full light all at once, So you too have a hidden side that is waiting for the opportunity to reveal itself. What are you holding back? No, I'm kidding. Be open though. Be open to let that come through, goddess. Okay, there's far more to you than meets the eye. And now is the time to bring out those hidden talents and gifts. Let the world see more of your light. Okay. So that's just kind of going with this Aries energy, me, you know, taking action, being bold, being out there, but also, that Pisces, that hidden part of you, the gifts, the talents, even the eclipse is unlocking, has the potential to unlock some hidden gift or talent. Well, thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you. I hope that this reading will benefit you greatly for the month of March. And again, if you would, I'm kind of doing, just kind of like managing things a little bit new here on the channel. So I just wanted to pull this up. If you would please again, like the video, share the video or the podcast if you're listening this to on your podcast with other sisters who will benefit from this wisdom. I wish you an amazing March. And I look forward to hearing about how it goes. I will connect with you again, either in one of the live streams or again here on the podcast. Take care. Peace and love.